Hello, my name's Claire and welcome to the drawing workshop using chalk pastels to describe natural forms. So I suggest you get yourself some sort of a simple still life setup and maybe a nice plant. I've got my cheese plant here because it's got a good strong form, lots of definition and some texture. You might have some nice shells or driftwood, anything that's quite organic and hasn't got too much detail, because pastel doesn't work so well for fine detail. You can't get a sharp point with it. It's good for a textured mark, a gestural mark. So selection of colours. You don't have to have every colour. Paper, A2 or A3, you don't want to be working too small so you feel restricted by your movement and by the mark. Newsprint is good actually, something, just whatever you have really. So I'll just move my camera and show you a few techniques. Okay, so the important thing about pastel is varying the amount of pressure. So you might just go in quite lightly with a very textured mark and then just add a bit more pressure and get more of a line. And then let that line have some movement, let it just sort of go very, very fine. Just that sort of sense of keeping it quite loose and fragmented. Or you might want to go in with a little bit more energy. And adding some different sorts of colours and marks. That's okay too, but what you don't want to do with pastel is a lot of blending. So you don't want to start doing that and then think I want it a bit lighter. You end up quite muddy and dull. Think in terms of allowing the paper to shine through. You get a much more interesting textured mark. So with your still life setup, just very loosely, gently, the shapes. Don't think too much about getting too precious or careful. It's going to have movement. That's the beauty of natural forms. You have a lot of movement there. And then adding in darker bits, more definition in places. What I like to do actually is use a brush in places and just soften some of the edges. And then you also have the colour moving into the white of the background, and that sort of adds a nice effect. So I'll leave you to go and make a drawing for about 45 minutes. I suggest you spend the first 5 or 10 minutes mark making, trying different marks, different amounts of pressure. And then one drawing for half an hour or 2 drawings. If you find that you've done enough on a drawing, don't overwork. Just sort of allow a lot of space in the drawing and then maybe start another one. So I'll see you a bit later. Okay, so I spent about 20-25 minutes on the drawing because I decided to stop because I quite like the amount of light and space. I wanted to emphasize this leaf and have the nice light and dark in there, and the texture, the stem I quite liked. Allowing these 2 leaves just to be just delicately suggested, push them into the background a little bit. Whereas this yellow leaf down here, I thought, oh, I quite like that yellow. I think I'll allow that to extend into the background a bit more. So moving things around a little bit. Obviously the background isn't yellow, but that doesn't matter. You can be creative, use your imagination, allow things to have movement and texture without worrying about getting very precise results, and thinking in terms of emphasis and focal points and what you want to bring forwards and make more interesting, and what you want to push back a little bit just by having a more delicate line. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.